They are not cold, they are not heartless. But if you don't understand this, you'll keep getting hurt. Hi, my name is Matush Hanidyar, and the topic of this video is Avoidants aren't the enemy, the truth you need to hear. You're in love with someone who pulls away. You get close, and suddenly they shut down. You're left wondering, was it something I said? Do they even care about me? Avoidants get a bad reputation. They are seen as cold, selfish, emotionally unavailable. But what if I told you they are not the enemy? The truth is, people with avoidant attachment never chose to be this way. This isn't manipulation. This isn't a game. This is survival. And if you have ever felt frustrated, heartbroken, or completely confused by someone with avoidant tendencies, you are not alone. But understanding what is really going on changes everything. Now, before we dive in, I want you to imagine this. There is a little child standing in a room, reaching out for comfort. But instead of warmth, they are met with coldness. Instead of safety, they are told to toughen up. Instead of love, they learn that needing someone is dangerous. So they do the only thing they can. They shut down. They build walls because relying on others feels like a risk they can't afford to take. Fast forward to adulthood, and these same instincts kick in. The closer someone gets, the more it triggers that old fear. If I open up, I might get hurt. If I depend on you, you might leave. And so they pull away. Not because they don't care, but because getting close feels just as dangerous now as it did back then. Now, if this resonates so far, please take a second to subscribe to this channel and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Maybe you know someone who has been struggling in a relationship with an avoidant. Maybe you have been on the receiving end of this and it's left you hurt and confused. Understanding this can help them or you find peace, and that is worth sharing. Thank you very much. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. Most people assume avoidants don't want love, that they prefer to be alone, that they don't feel as deeply as others do. But that is not true. Avoidants crave connection just like anyone else. The difference is their nervous system is wired to see love as a threat. Think of it like a smoke alarm that's too sensitive. A securely attached person can experience closeness and feel safe. But for an avoidant, the moment things get too intimate, too vulnerable, their internal alarm starts blaring. Danger, danger, danger. You're losing control. You're too exposed. Be careful. That's when the pushing away starts. The silent treatment, the withdrawal, the sudden coldness. Not because they want to hurt you, but because their nervous system is screaming at them to protect themselves. So if you are in a relationship with someone who is avoidant, or you have been hurt by someone like this, what do you do? How do you navigate this without feeling abandoned or emotionally starved? Here are three key shifts that will change everything. Shift number one, stop taking it personally. When someone pulls away, it's easy and often natural to assume it's about us, right? But what if their distance had nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with their past? Their reaction isn't about you, it's about their wiring. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt, but when you realize this isn't a rejection of you, it's an automatic response to closeness, it allows you to stop internalizing their distance as something you did wrong. You can take these three steps. Step number one, detach from the emotional trigger. When they pull away, notice your own response. Do you feel abandoned, rejected? Instead of reacting emotionally, remind yourself this is about their nervous system, not my worth. Step number two, avoid spiraling into self blame. Your mind might try to fill in the gaps. Did I say something wrong? Are they losing interest? Pause. Take a breath. Avoidance needs space not because you are unlovable, but because their survival instincts tell them to retreat. And step number 3, redirect your focus inward. Instead of chasing reassurance from them, shift your attention to self soothing. What can you do right now to bring yourself back to a sense of calm and security? Shift number 2, recognize their fear, not just their behavior. Now, it is easy to get caught up in what an avoidant does, right? Pulling away, shutting down, dismissing emotions. But underneath all of that is fear. Fear of being controlled, fear of being consumed, fear of opening up and getting hurt. Again, you can take these 3 steps. Step number 1, reframe their distance. Instead of seeing their withdrawal as a sign that they don't care, recognize it for what it is, a defense mechanism to protect themselves from emotional overwhelm. Step number 2, look for the silent beats for connection. Avoidants may not express love in obvious ways, but they do reach out, just differently. Maybe they text something small or check in with you in some ways. Instead of expecting them to show love your way, start noticing theirs. Step number 3, hold space for their emotions without forcing them. Instead of pushing them to open up on your timeline, create a safe environment where they want to. A simple "I am here when you are ready" can be far more powerful than demanding an explanation. And the shift number 3, meet them with understanding, not with pressure. When an avoidant withdraws, the instinct is to chase, to demand answers, to ask, "Why are you like this? Why can't you just talk to me?" Right? But this only makes them retreat further. Instead, the most powerful response is to give them space without punishing them for needing it, to show them that love doesn't have to mean losing themselves. You can take these 3 steps. Step number 1, resist the urge to fix their avoidance. Avoidants don't need to be forced into emotional closeness. They need to experience safety in connection at a pace that doesn't trigger their defenses. Step number 2, allow space but with an open door. Giving them space doesn't mean shutting them out. A calm, reassuring presence, rather than anxious chasing or cold withdrawal, teaches them that love doesn't have to feel suffocating. And step number 3, communicate in a way they can receive. Instead of overwhelming them with emotions, use clear, direct, and non pressuring statements. "I care about you and I'm here when you are ready" is far more effective than emotional demands. These shifts don't just make your relationship with an avoidant healthier, they give you more peace. Because when you stop taking their patterns personally, when you recognize their deeper fears and meet them with understanding rather than with pressure, you stop feeling powerless in love and in your relationship. And if you are someone who is struggling to navigate this and want to build a more secure, healthy connection, whether that's with an avoidant partner or within yourself, I invite you to book a free clarity call with me. We will dive deeper into your specific situation and find a way to create the kind of love that feels safe and lasting. The link is in the description of this video. Now, I want to leave you with one final thought. Avoidants aren't the villains of relationships. They are not emotionless. They are not broken. They are people who learned at a very young age that love and closeness weren't safe. And now, as adults, they are unlearning that. So the next time you feel frustrated, abandoned, or confused by an avoidant person, ask yourself, what would it feel like to meet them with compassion instead of resentment? Of course, compassion doesn't mean tolerating neglect or staying in a relationship that drains you, but it does mean recognizing that they didn't choose to be this way and that healing is possible for everyone. So, what do you think? Have you experienced this in your own relationship? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.